You know how in life there are some things that when you observe them, the only adequate way to describe it is to say, wow, what a dumpster fire. Well, as it turns out, in the world of sales training, there is a dumpster fire around every corner. And all it's doing is taking potential revenue opportunities and burning them up. Today we look at one of those, and I'm going to show you exactly how to put it out. This is Sales Untraining, a very different kind of sales podcast. 3 out of 4 salespeople are failing. They're falling short of their revenue. Why doesn't sales training work? That's what this sales podcast is about. It's your weekly sales strategy guide designed to rewire your sales brain. Welcome to Sales Untraining. I'm Kelly Riggs. So great to have you alongside as we continue talking about sales training and all the many ways that it goes sideways. In fact, in this particular episode, I'm going to start what I'm going to call the dumpster fire series. Oh man, there's just some things that you see in life, you go, wow, what were they thinking? And I have that thought process on a pretty regular basis because the way we do sales training in corporate America leads to some very predictable serious problems, dumpster fire caliber problems. Well, today we're going to talk about one of those. It's the most common, I think, or certainly in the top 3. But sales training and the way it's done in the marketplace leads to very predictable sales habits. In fact, if you spend enough time talking to prospects and asking them what they don't like about salespeople, you'll hear it over and over. The same exact things. In fact, I will tell you unequivocally, the most common thing that people don't like about salespeople, yes, I know because I ask, and I've asked hundreds of times in large audiences and small, and they always lead with this comment. They talk too much. Yep, that's exactly right. They talk way too much. And it's something about sales training that causes that problem. Now, I'm not going to focus in on the fact that they talk too much. I'm going to discuss something they do when they're talking too much. And that is this. Dumpster fire number 1. They make generic claims about their product or service. You know what I mean? Generic claims. We have great quality products. Get out. Really? You have great quality products? Well, I certainly hope so because I'm not really here to buy garbage. You know, I don't want junk. I do want the best price possible, but that's an aside, right? I always ask clients or salespeople, what do your clients want? And they start rattling off. Oh, they want great quality. They want great service. They want a warranty. They want great financing. They want the best rates. They want on-time delivery. They want short lead times, on and on and on. And then somebody always chimes in and says, yes, and they want a great price. Somewhere in there, they want a great price. Can we just boil it all down and make it simple? What do clients want? Everything. Absolutely. They want everything. And no matter what you're selling, when they decide they want it, they're going to buy it, they are still going to ask you for a better price. And most of your salespeople are going to cave. Whole nother episode. But here's what we do instead, and we instill this in salespeople in the sales training process. I have heard sales managers say thousands of times, literally, I can't embellish the number. You know, we have the best quality product in the marketplace. You know, we're the most innovative product in the marketplace. You know, our products are the best. Now, listen, it's like the survey of doctors when they say, how many of you would consider yourself above average? And 95% of all doctors say, I'm above average. Little bit of a problem with that mathematically, but it's the same thing. Not everybody can have the best product. Now, you can spin it. Well, we have the best product on, rainy Thursdays in months that end in R. Yeah, you could do that. There's a lot of ways that you can take a data point and you can turn it into something that makes you the best. Matters not. Absolutely doesn't matter. You know why? Because that's what everybody says. No salesperson walks in and says, listen, full disclosure, I want to be completely transparent. Our products are, they're average. No, nobody says that. That's generic claim number one. We have the best service. We have great service. Our service is award winning, and on it goes. And you know, our lead times are the best, and we do this the best. And by the way, we have all these wonderful features and benefits and all of these things. Do you understand that every single time you make a generic claim, it is not believable? Listen to me. It's not believable. You know how I know? I mean, this is so simple. I don't understand why people don't intuitively understand this. When you make a claim about your product, your service, your company, you get paid to say that stuff. I mean, it's like a politician that tells you anything you want to hear so they can get that vote, right? And it's a sales methodology. In fact, it's easily the most prevalent sales methodology. I'm going to tell you whatever I can possibly tell you. I'm going to make any claim and every claim if I can just get you to buy from me, including lowering my price if that's what it takes as a last straw. Generic claims, you get paid to say that, so you're not believable. Number two, it's not believable because every single salesperson is saying it. You know, we have the best design. We have the best manufacturing process. We have the best this, the best that. We do this better than anyone else. We're the leader in the industry. And people, they write these elevator speeches that sound like gobbledygook. You know, it's a bunch of business speak, wordsmithing to make you sound so intensely amazing and intellectually awesome and all of that stuff. And clients they just look at you like, I don't care. I mean, who cares? First off, I don't believe you. Now, again, let's be clear. They're saying they don't believe you. They're not saying it's not potentially true, but why would I believe a claim? I mean, it's like anything. When you claim it, it just doesn't ring true because you're trying to convince me to buy something from you. The whole thing is out of whack. We're not really addressing the real reason that people buy. We're not addressing the problem, the issue, the challenge. We're not trying to uncover the needs. And here's what's interesting. Even if you've been trained to do a little bit of that consultative selling, you're actually asking good questions. You're actually talking to the client. The minute you find out there is some kind of need, you flip a switch and suddenly we're in generic claim mode. Well, Mr. Prospect, let me tell you a little bit about our company. We've been around 75 years. We've been doing it right for a very long time. In fact, if you look at our list of clients, you're going to see the best names in the industry. I mean, you're going to see industry leading names. I mean, look at us. Look how amazing we are. And clearly we're the best. We've been around the longest. We make it bigger, faster, cheaper, better than anyone else. Our service is amazing. And on it goes. Tell me your people aren't doing that. Now, some of you are screaming at me right now. Well, we don't do that, Kelly. We train our people differently. Please go make sales calls with your salespeople and then answer the question. I mean, I know you've got some good salespeople. I mean, you wouldn't be in business if you didn't have some good ones, but the majority of those salespeople that are out there that are very average, and by the way, the data says at least 3 out of 4 are average at best. 1 out of 4 is their very own dumpster fire. They shouldn't even be in sales. That's not me saying so. That's the data. The data tells us that. And so you look at the average salesperson who's not learned how to be persuasive, to be influential, to be consultative, to ask good questions, to create dialogue. They don't know how to do any of that stuff. So what do? They make generic claims. Well, that's a huge dumpster fire. So imagine you could fix it. Well, coming up next, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it. Stay with me. Hey, thanks for making Sales Untraining your first listen of the week. And if you find something you like, if you hear something that's interesting, I hope you'll share it with somebody you know. You can find out more about me at bizlockerroom.com or email me, kelly@bizlockerroom.com. Now back to the show.
I regularly will have a manager tell me when I ask, why are you not confronting this underperformer with their result? I'm asking you to sit down and stick their nose in the results and then transition to the pipeline, because the pipeline's the lifeblood. And if we're sitting there with them and their results are poor, particularly over an extended period of time, and the pipeline's not healthy, which means the stuff they're working on doesn't look like it's going to produce business in the future. Someone who's failing and you're not willing to show them that they're failing and you're afraid they might leave. And I'm like, shouldn't you be coaching them up to an acceptable level and doubling up your accountability? Absolutely. But managers don't want to do the hard work. That you brought up culture first. What kills a high performance culture more than ignoring underperformance?
Welcome back. Great to have you as we talk about dumpster fire number one. Well, I mean, it's sort of a capricious ranking, but it's definitely up there in the top three. But hey, let me pause for just a minute. And I want to ask you, if you haven't done so already, would you like and subscribe to the podcast? And way more important to me, share it with someone who trains salespeople. Sales managers, VP sales, general managers, business owners, CEOs, doesn't matter. Anyone that cares about training salespeople more effectively. Because listen, the way we do it leads to so many unforced errors, and some of them are indeed dumpster fires. I mean, this is one of them. It's amazing. I go into sales calls, I listen to sales calls, I observe sales calls, and it's always the same old nonsense. And if you watch prospects carefully, they check out, or they get that look on their face like, yeah, right, just like everyone else. Okay? And we train people to do that. Now, let me take a second and make sure you understand that I know you make good products, you have good service. I'm not saying those things aren't true intrinsically. What I'm saying is that making claims about them gets you nowhere. It does not foster relationship. It doesn't build credibility. In fact, it does exactly the opposite. You know what it does? Oh, another salesperson who thinks his or her stuff is the best in the industry. Yes, that's exactly what happens. Generic claims have absolutely no value. So why am I wasting my valuable time with a prospect making those claims? Well, Kelly, you know everything. Why don't you tell us the answer? Well, okay, I will. I will tell you the answer. In fact, the answer is sitting right underneath our noses. We see it online all the time. Online, it's called social proof. Yeah, hang on. What does that mean? It means instead of me saying it, someone else says it for me. But because it's an actual user, someone who's bought the product, experienced the product, and has good things to say about it, assuming they're not paid by marketing to say that stuff, it's way more believable. So, okay, Kelly, that's great. But how do I do that? How do I apply that? Here's exactly how you apply it. Here's how you put this dumpster fire out. Start teaching your new salespeople, your existing salespeople, great success stories of problems, challenges, issues you've solved for clients in which they have told you how amazing you are. Then I can take that story, and instead of that nonsensical wordsmithed value proposition or elevator speech, I can make it real. I can make it believable. I call it third-party selling. Sounds a lot like social proof, but I was using that phraseology 30 years ago. But I allow a third party to sell it for me. How? For example, if someone says, well, tell us about your company, or why should I buy from you, or what makes you different? I say, well, let me give you an example. We've got a client that we work with that we recently solved this big problem for. Now, I'm not going to get into details because every industry is different, right? But I fill in the blanks, the brackets, right? We solved some significant problem for them. Here's the challenge they were faced with, and they were struggling to get these kinds of results. And we were able to take the solution that we have and use it in such a way that not only did we solve that problem for them, but we were able to create results even above and beyond their expectations. And if I've got permission, I can name the client. I don't have to name the client because I can say a client that does something in the industry that's similar to what they do, that they were producing a product or building something or doing something very similar, and this is the challenge they had. I can even mention the size of the company, the number of people involved. I mean, you see what I'm getting at? I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell them a story about someone real, a real client, a real customer who had a real challenge and a real problem, and this is how they solved it, and they were successful in doing so. And then I can say, if that sounds like the kind of challenges or issues or problems you're having, we probably should explore that. Or, if that's the kind of service that you're looking for, that's the kind of people we are. That's the way we do things. But I don't make a generic claim because I know that it's absolutely worthless. Now, somebody's going to say, well, what's the difference? You're just telling a story about making some generic claim. No, not at all. I mean, it's the difference between talking about a plot idea and actually reading a story with the plot idea in it, where there's a real character, real people, and things really happen. And the descriptive nature of the narrative draws you in. And yeah, I'm choosing a story that fits the individual that I'm talking to, the situation that they're in, the challenge their company faces. You want to solve this problem? Start your sales training by teaching your people some stories. Next level, take them to the customer. Let them go through the product that they're using, or observe it, or take a tour of the company or the factory or the manufacturing floor or whatever it is. Let them see it in action. Let them hear from the customer what it sounds like. You know what sounds amazing to a prospective client? Listen, this is a particular problem that we've dealt with in the past, and I'll give you an example. I recently had the opportunity to have a conversation with the CEO of a very large company, similar to yours, located in the northeastern part of the country, and they were dealing with this kind of issue. They were struggling to be able to do X and to produce Y. And so we were able to analyze that and go in, and we took our product, and working with them, we implemented it in such a way that they got 3 amazing results. They were able to do X, Y, and Z. I think that's why most companies look at us and say, here's somebody that we want to talk to and potentially work with. Doesn't that sound a lot different than we make the best products in the industry? At least someone else is saying it, and at least it's believable and true because there's facts and figures and people behind it. It's not hard. I have talked to hundreds of companies in 18 years, and every single one of them, to a company, when we have this discussion, they look at me like, what in the world? We've got stories for days. We just don't do a good job of capturing those things and teaching it to our salespeople. Yep, you can turn that dumpster fire into something that really sizzles. God, it's such a bad pun. With your customers. I wish you the best. See you next time.
Sales Untraining is a production of Business Locker Room and Pod About It Productions. Music and editing by Doug Branson. To get more Kelly, visit bizlockerroom.com.